What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Now, you guys know this was coming next. I have a segment that I call What's Next, and I like to talk about fighters coming off of tough losses or triumphant victories. And in this case, it's a loss, and that's against Juan Manuel Marquez. I told you in previous videos, stay tuned to the end of this video, and I'll link those videos to this one. I don't like how Nacho and Juan Manuel Marquez are taking their defeat to Timothy Bradley. I thought it was clear and concise. They obviously feel different. And like I said, I'm willing to debate with anyone as long as we do it in a respectful, educated standpoint. Don't bring in race or color or age or dumb shit. And if you can explain to me what rounds you gave to Marquez and what he did to win, then we can possibly entertain a debate. But like I said, I don't like the way they're taking the loss. Marquez wrote this on Twitter. Thank you everyone for the support this past Saturday. We are walking with our head held high because we know we won. That's what he had to say. No, you didn't, Marquez. Now, maybe he was talking about the Pacquiao fight, one of them, because I definitely think he should have won the third fight. He obviously won the fourth. The second was questionable. The first one, that was a scorecard that was scored wrong, so technically Pacquiao should have won by 1 point. So I don't know what fight he was talking about when he tweeted this, but you didn't win the Bradley fight. Plain and simple. You did not do it. I like different styles of fights. I can embrace them. I can interpret it. And you just didn't do enough to win. You have to dethrone the champion, and you have to be convincing doing it. And this is not a fucking circus game or something where you have a hammer and then you hit the hammer to see who's the strongest and see how high the meter goes when different people hit it. That's not what boxing is about. So for the people who want to say Marquez landed harder shots, I could have told you going in that he has more punching power than Bradley. But through the duration, through the fight in its entirety, what round did he win? Even his best round, if you look at his best round, was his best round a dominant round? No. And that's my point. None of his rounds, even the rounds you probably scored for Marquez, none of them were dominant, meaning Bradley was absent during those rounds. So, again, I just have a hard time buying what people are selling as far as this Marquez. I predicted Marquez to win. I was wrong, and I openly admit that. Like, here's an example. Floyd Mayweather versus Canelo. Watch the 11th round. Mayweather was using Canelo, his face and his body, as target practice. So, name one round in the Marquez Bradley fight that was that clear and concise, that was that definitive, that it had to go to Marquez. Do that for me. Same thing. Look at Timothy Bradley versus Ruslan Provodnikov. I can give you exact rounds that Ruslan clearly won. There's no way anyone can say anything different. The 12th round, the first round, the second round, and I believe it was the 6th round. And actually, the 6th round is questionable because I think Bradley looked good in the round and he just got hurt later. But if you look at the first, second, and the last round, those are clearly rounds for Ruslan. So, without a shadow of a doubt, Ruslan won those particular rounds. Name a time in the fight where Marquez clearly dominated and won that round and he really secured that round. And you're not going to find many. I've only watched this fight once, so I'll give it a second look, but I don't think what I'm saying is inaccurate. Again, I don't appreciate the way Marquez and Nacho are taking this loss. The Pacquiao losses that are different because those were very close and competitive. I think Bradley clearly won this fight. I don't see what the hoopla is about. Even in the 12th, the bigger puncher looked like he was almost going to get knocked down and his glove was about to touch the ground by a light puncher in the 12th round when he was trying to go for the gusto in exchange with Bradley. He's the one that flew back and almost touched the canvas with his glove. So I don't see what the fuck people are talking about. As far as Marquez, what's next? I think he could, at this point, if he'd like, he could call it a career and just cash out right off into the sunset. I think at this point, if he likes to entertain a rematch with Pacquiao, which he said he didn't want to do, but I mean, I can't stop someone from getting money. That's obviously going to be a huge payday. Two fighters that just lost to Bradley. They have unfinished business in Pacquiao, Team Pacquiao, their eyes, because Pacquiao lost in a knockout in a round he was clearly winning up until the knockout. So I think those are really the two options. Obviously, to me, Marquez, there's certain guys he can beat, and there's certain guys that I don't think he can beat, especially at age 40. Pacquiao, that would be a blockbuster fight, so that's where the money's at. He's went on record saying he doesn't want the Floyd Mayweather fight, and the Bradley performance is perfect example of why he doesn't want to fight Floyd at age 40. And it's funny because Marquez says all this stuff about, oh, I have 6 robberies, but he has 7 losses because he knows Mayweather beat him convincingly. And that's my thing. It's all about what you could do convincingly, especially if you're the challenger taking on the champion. So I don't really see that. Some people were high up on it after Marquez knocked Pacquiao out. I was never high up on that because if you look at Floyd Mayweather, I can't say he's in his prime, but he still looks good. He still looks fluid, and he still looks like he has the skills that are definitely going to pose problems for Marquez. Bradley posed problems for Marquez, and I think Floyd has more snap on his punches. Plus, he's faster, I think, than Bradley, even though Bradley looked very sharp. And I think I rate Floyd's brain pretty much at the top in terms of boxing. So that's an ugly fight for Marquez. He already lost once, and I think that's going to further blemish his legacy. So I don't really condone that fight. If he'd like to fight Bradley in a rematch or Pacquiao, I would definitely watch those, definitely support those. If you think you beat Bradley so easily and you were up by 3 or 4 rounds, like Nacho was saying, shit, fight him again. Pacquiao, obviously, that's a blockbuster fight. Adrian Broner was calling out Marquez at a point in time. And, yeah, just judging by the Bradley fight, I think he'd have problems with Broner as well. If Broner doesn't get knocked out by Maidana, or if he looks solid in his second performance against a less crafty fighter, I think Broner could definitely give Marquez problems because he's going to have more pop than Timothy Bradley. Speed has always bothered Marquez, and just the slick style of fighting. In Broner, I think he has a pretty solid, especially for his age, defense. So the movement, the speed, the athleticism, and the size and power of someone like Broner would really bother a 40-year-old Marquez, in my opinion. It could be interesting if Broner can't take a punch at 147. He's only one fight deep, so I don't really know what his chin's like against someone who's accurate. So that would be an interesting fight. I would watch that. He can also fight the winner of the Ruslan and Mike Alvarado fight, or the winner of, I guess, Pacquiao Rios if Rios beats Pacquiao. So that's really what I think is next. I don't care. If he wants to retire, I think he's done enough for the sport. He's fought long enough, and I'm okay with that. I just don't want him to get to an Eric Morales state where he's just carrying on for a paycheck and just further hurting his legacy and tarnishing that. He already has a lot of fights, but he has a lot of losses too. He's nearing that double-digit mark of losses for one reason or another. If you think the Pacquiao ones are robberies or the Bradley fights are robberies, on his record, it's still going to show the same 5 years from now. It's not going to be like, oh, the Bradley or the Marquez and Pacquiao fight, that was a robbery, so we're going to undo history and change it on his box rec profile. So that's just what I think's next for Marquez. If he doesn't decide retirement, maybe one of those fights, maybe entertain one of those fights that I talked about. And that's really all I got to say. So let me know what you guys think. What do you want to see Marquez do next? Do you want to see him retire? Do you want to see him go on for a Pacquiao 5th fight? Leave a comment and let me know what you guys want to see next. As always, hate, comment, or subscribe. Till next video, it's Ego signing off.